Arlington National Cemetery is a really sacred place. It serves the purpose of honoring our nation's veterans. Every headstone at Arlington has an incredible story. Andrew Munn's, his story is definitely one we shouldn't forget.
Andy Munns was my big brother. He loved his country and he was proud to serve in the Navy in 1968.
1968 was an incredibly tumultuous year for our country, to say the least. We were headlong into a really unpopular war in Vietnam. And there were massive protests on the street.
Andy Munns was a patriot at a time when it was not popular to be a patriot. And he joined the Navy for all the right reasons to serve his country.
Munns was a 24-year-old Navy officer serving aboard the USS Cacapon in the U.S. Naval Base Suffolk Bay in the Philippines.
Its job was to refuel the aircraft carriers and the destroyers. Andy was the dispersing officer, so he had the payroll, had to make sure that everybody got their money. It was not a huge crew, but they had to work really hard.
On January 17, 1968, Munns failed to show up to muster, which is the morning roll call. The crew searched for him, but he had disappeared, and so had $8,600 from the safe that he was in charge of. Munns was never heard from again.
This young man just wanted to serve his country. And within 3 weeks of reporting aboard that ship, he disappeared. And he was labeled a deserter and a thief.
He would never have taken that money. So something else happened.
The Navy investigated Munns' disappearance for 6 months, and that was it.
When somebody is a deserter, there is no honor as recognized by the Navy. They're a deserter. You don't get much lower than that.
When those white-gloved hands hand the family member that folded flag, you often see them pull it in close to their chest. It's that important of a symbol, and you're denied all of that. The Navy or the military shuts you out.
We knew that something bad had happened. Somebody killed my brother. My mother never got a flag. All service people get when they lose a son. She never had that closure.
Mary Lou, Munns' sister, made it her mission to find out what happened to her brother.
I knew I had to give it my best shot, but we had no way of getting the Navy to open a new investigation until one day I got a phone call that I almost didn't answer. But it was Pete Hughes from the Cold Case Squad from the Naval Criminal Investigative Service. Pete said, "Why should we open an investigation? Why do you think your brother was murdered?" And he let me talk.
She had explained to me certain things she had done on her own, and just hearing that just screamed she needed assistance.
While there's a statute of limitations on crimes, there's no statute of limitations self-imposed on agents to solving a crime. So where others may see an end, NCIS agents don't accept that, and will continue to drive forward.
There's no evidence, there's no crime scene, there's no witnesses. This case was the unsolvable. But one thing about Pete and I, we had a good track record for solving the unsolvable.
Munns' story was such a fascinating tale, it actually inspired one of the early episodes of NCIS, the TV show.
He was their dispersing officer. He was declared a deserter 30 days later, and he received a dishonorable discharge.
Dishonorable?
Something happened on that ship that night.
We knew there was a killer that lurked on that ship. In worst case, he's now somewhere in the United States.
The NCIS mission is global.
We're on aircraft carriers, we're in foreign ports.
We watch after each other, we take care of each other.
NCIS deal with every type of crime. Cyber, fraud, murder.
Yeah, general crimes, counterintelligence, counterterrorism.
Every crime was a tragedy. Involved sisters, brothers, husbands.
That's the only way to find the truth.
We live in dangerous times, and we're never going to give up.
NCIS, the cases they can't forget.